The Shooting of Dan McGrew by Robert W. Service. A bunch of the boys were whipping it up in the Malamute saloon. The kid that handles the music box was hitting a jagtime tune. Back at the bar in a solo game sat Dangerous Dan McGrew, and watching his luck was his light o' love, the lady that's known as Lou. When out of the cold that was 50 below and into the din, the glare, there stumbled a miner, fresh from the creeks, dog dirty and loaded for beer. He looked like a man with a foot in the grave, with scarcely the strength of a louse. Yet he tilted a poke of dust on the bar, and he called for drinks for the house. There was none of us could place the stranger's face, though we searched ourselves hard for a clue. But we drank his health, and the last to drink was Dangerous Dan McGrew. Now there's men that somehow just grip your eyes and hold them hard in a spell. And such was he, and he looked to me like a man who'd lived in hell, with a face most hair and a dreary stare of a dog whose day is done. And he watered the green stuff in his glass, and the drops fell one by one. His eyes went rubbering round the room. He seemed in a kind of daze, till at last the old piano came in the way of his wandering gaze. The ragtime kid was having a drink. There was no one else at the still. So the stranger stumbles across the floor, and he flops down there like a fool. In a buckskin shirt that was glazed with dirt, he sat, and I saw him sway. Then he clutched the keys with those talon hands. My God, but that man could play. Were you ever out in the great alone when the moon is awful clear, and the icy mountains hemmed you in with a silence you most could hear, and only the howl of the timber wolf as you camped out there in the cold, a half-dead thing in a stark dead world, clean mad for the muck called gold, while high overhead, green, yellow and red, the northern lights swept in bars? Then you've a hunch what the music meant. Hunger, night and stars. And not the hunger of the belly kind, nah, that's banished with bacon and beans, but the gnawing hunger of lonely men for a home and all that it means, for a fireside far from the cares that are, for walls and a roof above, and oh so crammed full of cosy joy, and crowned with a woman's love, a woman dearer than all the world and true as heaven is true. My God, how ghastly she looks through her rouge, the lady that's known as Lou. The music almost died away. Then it burst like a pent-up flood, and it seemed to say, repay, repay, and my eyes were blind with blood. And the thought came back of an ancient wrong, and it stung like a frozen lash. And the lust awoke to kill, and the music stopped with a crash. And the stranger turned, and his eyes they burned in a most peculiar way. In a buckskin shirt that was glazed with dirt, he sat, and I saw him sway. Then his lips went in a kind of grin. He spoke, and his voice was calm. And boys, says he, yous don't know me, and none of you care a damn. But I want to state, and my words are straight, and I'll bet me poke they're true. One of yous is a hound of hell, and that one's Dan McGrew. Then I ducked my head and the lights went out, and two guns blazed in the dark, and a woman screamed and the lights went up, and two men lay stiff and stark. Pitched on his head and pumped full of lead was Dangerous Dan McGrew. while clutched to the breast of the man from the creeks was the lady that's known as Lou. Well, these are the simple facts of the case. I guess I ought to know. They say the stranger was crazed with hoosh. I'm not denying it, so I'm not as wise as the lawyer guys. But strictly between us two, the lady that kissed him and pinched his poke was the lady that's known as Lou.